Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Staying in the Conversation. I think this is episode 6, but who knows? Um, so this video is being recorded live on Zoom. So if you wish to attend to these Zoom meetings live and actually ask real life questions before it is posted on YouTube, then let me know, email me. My email address will be below this video, or message in the comments that you wish to be part of these live calls and stay in this conversation in real time. And if you're within the London area and maybe you know a little bit about the 3 principles, but you're looking for a London-based community to join, let me know, because that is my mission, to create a London-based, heart-led 3 principles community to, hold a space for people to talk in this way, to explore, to experiment, to really get curious and dive into who they are and their true potential, and how we can really consciously create, as a joint consciousness and individual consciousness, if that's a word. And so without further ado, today I didn't set an exact topic, but I've had a few questions, so I'm going to start with questions and answers. So I've had some questions emailed in to me, and one was a very sort of, I guess, practical question, which is, what is my educational background? So I thought I would go ahead and answer that question. So back in, I think 2015, 2017, something like that, 2015 to 2017, I studied as an early years educator. And what that means is I can work in nurseries, or I can work as a nanny, or anywhere with children, or I can work in schools with children ages 0 to 7. That's what that course was about. So I've been, so that's that, with that education, with those studies, I've went on to become a nanny for the past 12 years. And for the past 8 years, I've been with the same family. I've been an OFSTED registered nanny for the past 8 years with the same family, which I absolutely love. And while it was always, working with children is always something that I wanted to do. It was always something that was sort of innately within me since I was very, very little. When I was 12, I wanted to be a child psychologist, and studying psychology is still, I do think it still is on the cards, but it isn't something I've actually done just yet. And then from 2018 until today, present day, I have been studying the 3 principles with the amazing Dare to Be You team. So Beck Sheffield, who is a self-love guru, and the conscious creator coach, Deborah Simmons. And so they both work, their auntie and niece, and they both work together under a business called Dare to Be You. And I'll put their information below as well, so you can see who they are, what they teach, and everything they know is everything I've studied under them, and what they teach, what they share. And I've kind of taken all of that studying and put it here onto my YouTube channel to share it with you. So yeah, that kind of answers that. That was short and sweet. And then I have made some notes here of what's been going on for me these past couple of weeks. So these calls, these Staying in the Conversation calls, I host them every 2 weeks. So that the plan is to keep going every 2 weeks for the foreseeable future. And so these past 2 weeks, I've really, really deeply come back to where sustainable change comes from. So I'm going to lead with there, because that's where my life has been going in the past couple of weeks. That sustainable change, when we're on any kind of journey, spiritual journey, when we're getting curious about life and we're asking these deep philosophical questions, what I think, I think I can speak for everyone, but what we commonly want is change. What we commonly want, and that change is usually for the greater good. It's a greater good kind of change. Nobody wants change so things can be worse. People want change for things to be better. You know, they want their husband to change, their parents to change, their kids to change, their friends to change. That they want people to change, or they want circumstances to change for the greater good, for the greater good. And what I'm seeing again deeper and deeper is that when we want sustainable change, so change that actually sustains, we have to be that change from the inside out. And there are tons of quotes. One that comes to mind is, you know, be the change that you want to see in the world. I can't remember who said that. But yes, be the change you want to see in the world, and it's modeling that change. It's become it. So if you want to see more love and peace in the world, be love and peace. If you don't want your toddlers to tantrum and scream and shout, model the opposite of that. Model what you want to see. You know, if there are screaming and shouting, like model how you'd come out of that, how you'd regulate your emotions, you know, whatever it is, that it really is starting with you, coming back with whatever you want different out in the world. It has to come from you. You have to go inside and can you be that change? Can you be that love and peace that you want for the rest of the world? Can you be that calmness and clarity? Can you be slow to anger? Can you be quick to forgive? Can you be the things that you want different? And how that looks to me is it's very empowering. So it isn't this blaming or beating yourself up, or okay, so if it's me who has to change, it's me who has to do all the work. And I can see that there is a space for what about them? There is that question, what about the other people? And again, what I keep on seeing and knowing more and more deeply is that when we bring it back to ourselves and when we look inside, there is that space of empowerment, because we can only guide ourselves. We can only look at ourselves from the inside out. We can only know what we're thinking and what we're feeling. We can't know what other people are thinking and feeling. We can't know why they're doing what they're doing, what thoughts they have, what stories, what beliefs. We can't know that. And so we can't make them have a new thought to then change their action. And we can't make ourselves have a new thought either. But what we can do is get curious and aware of what thinking we're having. And when we're having uncomfortable feelings or we don't feel right, it's that sat nav, it's that internal guidance system telling us that we've moved away from our true nature. We've moved away from peace, love, and wisdom. We've moved away from our true potential and who we really are at our core. And so the more we go back to that, that when we want more calmness and peace and clarity in our lives, when we model that and we look in, it's like, okay, well, how can I be more peaceful? And in each area of your life, you gently soften it back to peace. Other people may not change or circumstances may not change, but the experience of those people and those experiences can be completely different. To put it another way, let's say my favorite topic, your child doesn't like doing their homework. So let's say that is still happening. There's still arguments with homework. They're still complaining and crying and whinging over homework. But now you've softened your area, you've softened yourself, and you're going to respond to everything your child does with peace and love and compassion. You're not going to respond with anger. You're not going to respond with annoyance. You've committed to yourself that you're going to respond with peace and love. Now, what that would look like on the outside, you know, in this big playground we call life, that would look like your child complaining, crying, whinging, I don't want to do my homework. And that's what's happening on the outside. But what's happening for you internally is you feel this deep sense of love, peace, and compassion. And you can see, gosh, my child is so tired. They don't have the mental capacity for homework. They've been at school for 7 hours, 8 hours. They're exhausted. I would be too. But they need to get this homework done. So I'm going to help them. I'm going to sit there and help them. So there is this deep sense of peace there. There is this deep sense of love and compassion. And there's a connection then. Homework gets done. You feel peaceful. You haven't said anything mean. You haven't shouted. The task has been done. The experience has now been different for you. Maybe it hasn't been different for your child, but it's been different for you for definite. But actually, going back on that, it probably has been different for your child because you haven't responded in the way you usually respond. If you've responded gently and calmly, they're still whinging and they're not totally happy about the whole situation. But there is a softness to it because then there isn't this back and forth argument because it's not possible. If you're responding with love and they're trying to be upset, eventually they're going to soften too as a byproduct. My mentor, Deborah Simmons, loves to say the strongest energy always wins. And that can sometimes, to me, sound really overwhelming and like all-encompassing. The strongest energy always wins. So that means if the strongest energy is hate or anxiety or fear, that energy is going to win. And I don't like that feeling. It doesn't feel nice. Like that idea that the strongest energy always wins. But if I commit to myself that my energy is love, peace, and wisdom, and I ground myself in that energy, my energy then becomes the stronger energy. So in the homework scenario, you've got an upset, tired, exhausted child who doesn't want to do their homework. And then you've got a nanny who is calm, peaceful, compassionate, loving. That combination equals homework gets done. If you had two people feeling, you know, if my energy was low and my love, peace, and compassion energy was low, that situation would have been completely different. That experience for both me and the child would have been different. But because my sustainable change that I want in the world is more love, more peace, more compassion. So that's what I'm giving out. So this is what I mean when I say that be the change you want to see in the world. I really mean be it. Like live it, breathe it, smell it, act it, know it. Know that change you want, whatever that change may be, know what it is, and really, really live into it. Like deeply live into that change, like model that change, be that change, be that tidiness, be that peacefulness, be whatever it is that you want to change. I'm sure there's a million ideas of things that people want to do in this world. And whatever it is, whatever that change is, more money, less stress, you know, whatever that change is, know what that change feels like. Know it deep in your heart. Know it like the back of your hand. Know it so well that when you see the opposite, like when you see something that goes against your idea, when you see something that goes against that, you will instinctively, subconsciously be able to pick that up. You know, that's not what I want in the world. That's not love and peace. Let me come back to love and peace. And it isn't this constant policing your thoughts and feelings, because that's not love and peace either. That's really hard work and anxiety and difficult. It's this settling in, and it's this trusting. It's this we settle into that change. We decide, okay, the change I want is peace, love, and compassion. And then we settle and we hand it over to the power behind life. It's like, okay, this is what I'm putting into the power of life. This is what I'm putting into the game of life. And I hand it over to the power behind life. I hand it over to this higher power, to this, the thing, the magic that turns acorns into oak trees and sunflower seeds into gigantic sunflowers. I hand it over to that, an egg and a sperm into a baby, full on human being. I hand it over to that power. I hand over this change that I want. I want love, peace, and compassion. That's the change I want to model. And then I give it to the power behind life. And then I settle and I watch it happen. I watch that magic happen. So I talk about a lot of doing. I talk a lot about turning it back to you. Do this and do that and know yourself and look inwards and meditate and focus. And I talk a lot about doing and work. And while it is a lot of doing and work, it also is a lot of resting and allowing. There is a balance between the two things. Because when we sit and say, okay, well, it's on me, I need to be the change I want to see. I need to put love and peace. And the minute you start fighting for love and peace, you've lost. You've lost that completely. But it isn't rectifiable. Like you can change it. You can go back. You can go back to the starting point. Like you haven't lost completely. You've just lost in that moment, in that millisecond. When we start, it's happened to me many times where it's like, okay, my sustainable change is love, peace, and compassion. Okay, go back to love and peace, go back to love and peace. And I'm really not feeling loving, peaceful, or compassionate. I'm feeling really angry or tired or frustrated. And so, sometimes for me, owning that softens it. Like, if I genuinely am tired and I just say, do you know what? I feel really tired right now. Like, just give me a minute. And whoever's around me, and I say that to them, or I say it to myself internally, like I feel really tired, like give me energy. I feel really exhausted. And I just say to the universe, to myself, like, thank you for my energy, thank you for my health, thank you for my, living in that space of gratitude. It changes. It genuinely changes and it softens. So it's from that space of what is true in that moment, what is going on, when we argue against the isness of the present moment, that's when we suffer. So if we're arguing against the fact that, oh, it shouldn't be angry, I shouldn't be angry, or this situation shouldn't be uncomfortable, or this event shouldn't have gone the way it did. It's all shouldn't, and it's all arguing against what had happened. And when we're arguing against what is happening or has already happened, we've lost. We're going in the wrong direction. The discomfort that we're feeling when we're going in that direction is the sat nav, is the guidance system saying, turn around. You're going the wrong way. And by all means, there's nothing wrong with going the wrong way. You keep going the wrong way, but you're not going to get to where you want to get to. Let's say peace, love, and compassion is here, and the opposite of that is here, or discomfort and the stuff you don't want is over here. And you're driving this way. And if you keep driving this way, you're still going the wrong way. But then if you're driving this way and then you realize, oh, if I just turn around, then you come back to it. The shortcut is just turning around and going that way. But sometimes what happens in life is that we go the long way around. And on that long way around, we pick up a few lessons, we pick up some things that we just wouldn't have picked up if we didn't go the long way around. We learn some stuff. We learn to understand people a little bit more. And that's what's happened for me, that the more I go through these difficult, uncomfortable times, the more compassion I have for people who live there in that space for a lot longer. There are plenty of people in this world who live in a space of discomfort, unease, and they're consistently going in the wrong way. They're consistently, they want to be happier and calmer and more peaceful, which is over here, and they're consistently going in the opposite direction, consistently for months, for years. They're just going in the wrong direction. And so when I go in the wrong direction for a day or two or a week, and I take the long way around, I take the bus and the train, and then I stop for a bit, and then a car, and you get the gist. And I completely just go around the houses and check out what's going on over there and over here, and then I come back to love and peace. By the time I've come back to that space of love and peace, there is this hindsight, there is this place of, oh my days, people lived there for years. I lived there for years. I lived in that disease, this discomfort, this other people need to be different in order for me to be okay. I lived there for years, and people are still living there, day in, day out. People who say things that maybe rub us up the wrong way, people who say mean things, do mean things, they're living in that space. And so when I do then come back to my true nature, my true potential, that magic within my soul, then I am filled with so much love, peace, and compassion, like tenfold, 10 times over. So every time we go in the wrong direction, it's not wrong. It's not incorrect, is it? We're just going in the wrong direction to where we want to get to. So it's like if you wanted to get somewhere, like if I, wanted to go Sainsbury's, I'd need to turn right outside of my flat to go Sainsbury's. If I turned left, it'd be the wrong way, but then I could go left and then kind of find my way around to it. But it would take a lot longer than just going right to begin with. So it's like with anything, any destination, there is a direct route and there's an indirect route. And we get to choose which one we want to take. And sometimes it doesn't, like the choice and the option for choice is always there, but it doesn't look like it's there, like it's covered, it's obscured. So I didn't choose. I didn't sit there and say, okay, for the next week, I'm going to go in the wrong direction from my wisdom. I'm going to go in the complete opposite direction, and I'm going to suffer for a whole week. I didn't sit there and do that. It just happened. A thought popped into my head and I felt uncomfortable. And I ran a mile with that thought. And that thought created thought babies and a thought generation, and it just had a whole family of uncomfortable thinking. And so I stayed there for a while until I came back, because we always come back. That's why I talk a lot about starting points. We always have the opportunity to come back to those firm foundations, come back to those starting points. Who are you at your core? And for me, and for these three principles that Sydney Banks articulated in the 1970s, mind, thought, and consciousness, these three things, which is essentially one thing, but these three things are a description of the behind the scenes of the human experience. So we have this human experience, and it looks like, if you say I'm beautiful, it makes me happy. If you say I'm ugly, it makes me sad. If you hit me, it makes me angry. It really, really looks that way. And that's in the nature of the design of being human, that we fall for this illusion. When we're watching TV, when we're watching a movie, we want to feel like the movie, the producers want us to be emotional with it. They want us to go along with the ride, otherwise we won't watch it. You know, have you ever seen a movie that there once was a boy who went to school, did his homework, and went to bed, and then he got up and he had breakfast and he went to school and he went home and he had his dinner and he went to bed and they all lived happily ever after? Like, nobody's going to watch that. Nobody's going to be entertained by that. So we are entertained by the drama of a movie, by the beginning, middle, and end. And most movies end happy, with a lot of sad bits in the middle, and maybe some people died or whatever. But then in the end, it kind of ends happy, except for the ones that don't. So in this game of life, in the human form, we're here to play full out. And in the end, it ends how it's supposed to end. You know, happiness and emotions is a human conception. It's all man-made. There isn't, like, all of this is a part of the game. These emotions are part of the game. It's inbuilt with us that we have all these emotions, these, you know, good, bad, happiness, sadness, like all of this comes inbuilt as part of being human. But before we came into this world of form, we were the formless energy. We were one with the divine. We were one with the higher power, the magic behind life, that magic that turns acorns into oak trees. We were one with that. And what the three principles explain is that we came into form by the gift of that magic behind life. We came into form. So we were spiritual beings, and we are spiritual beings, and we came into form to have this human experience. So what's happening behind the scenes is that we're conscious. We know that we're alive. We know that we're here. And then to have like a film realm, like in a projector, to have, you know, a script, so to speak, we have thoughts. And so those thoughts give us our scripts, our daily scripts, and our life. You know, we've all got a story to tell. So with those thoughts, it creates our script. And then from those thoughts, if we take every single thought to be true and real, that we believe everything we think, you know, oh, that person really doesn't like me, they looked at me funny. If we believe that that's true every time, then we're going to build a script on, oh, okay, people don't like me, and if they look at me in a certain way, that means they don't like me. The script is going to grow into this insecure script of a person. The experiences we're going to have will coincide with that script. And then our life will coincide with that script. And what will happen is we'll say, see, it's true. And life will give us evidence that our script is true. But the starting point is the script. When we then change that script, I'm a magical being. I am a miraculous miracle. It doesn't matter whether people like me or not. I came here on purpose to have a human experience. And there's way too many people in the world to like me anyways. And there's loads of people who can like me. There's so many people, there's billions of us. There's bound to be at least one that like you. And the most important person to like you is you. So when we change that script and we rewrite it, then we get evidence of that. Oh, that person looked at me in that way because they just did, you know, and different things come up for us. And so what the three principles have done for many people, and especially me, because I can only talk for myself, is it's given me that description, that behind the scenes of what's going on. You know, when I moved away from my wisdom, when I moved away from my love, peace, and compassion, when I moved away from that I am, that I want to be, I went round the houses to gain a deeper feeling of compassion for people who are going through a hard time, for people who are really buying into the human illusion that happiness is something out there. Happiness is something for other people. That, you know, peace, money, all of these things, these feelings of security, of happiness, of okayness belongs to other people. There are so many people who live in a world like that. And I have so much love and compassion for all of you who are going through a hard time right now. And what these conversations are about are bringing you back, are sort of peeling off the, trying to think of a nice word, rubbish, trying to not swear. Peeling off the rubbish, peeling it off layer by layer, and just getting rid of all of that. And at the end of all these layers of rubbish, at the end of it, you have this diamond, this unbreakable, undamageable diamond, and that is your true nature. That diamond that's been covered up by rubbish. That diamond is who you really are. And when we come back to that diamond, that miraculous miracle that you are, from there, from that magic, you can shine your light, you can be you, you can express yourself how you wish to express yourself. And from there, sustainable change happens. From that space, from lighting up that fire, that diamond, that light inside of you, igniting it and showing it off to the world, showing it off to yourself, being proud of who you are, really living into the miracle that you are, deeply knowing that you are a miracle and you are deserving of love and good things. That's what these conversations are about. It isn't about buying into some spiritual teaching that doesn't fully make sense. It isn't about buying into that. It isn't about buying into my thoughts and my beliefs. It isn't buying into any of that. It's buying into yourself. It's learning who you really are. It's uncovering, rediscovering who you are at your core. And you are a magical, miraculous miracle. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this conversation was helpful. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.